and welcome to the program. Let's meet you.
Thank you. So when you say let's meet you, generally,
Yes.
what are you looking for? What do you want to hear?
What we want to get is your name and what you basically do.
Okay. So my name is Lady Engineer Emem Asikpo. I am a daughter of Akwa Ibom State. On my maternal side, my great grandmother is Adiara Diara Matamudaibong from Itak Ikono local government area. And on my father's side, I am a daughter of the Asikpo family from Nongobio Kama Anwa in Oforukwa, Uyo local government area. I am an electrical engineer by training, a technology evangelist by profession, and my primary job is mother to my two children. I love my people, Akwa Ibom State, and I serve my people currently through my foundation called the Madam Emem Asikpo Foundation, where we focus on the girl child and also women. Most of our work right now is at and where we are at the grassroots and able to interface with the population that we're interested in. So thank you for having me on your program.
You're welcome once again. A very interesting background you have there and a very rich knowledge of your history. Good to hear from a woman as you. But let's ask you now, you are now away from your foundation work, interested in the political activities and the elections of 2023. Let's try to understand that. What led to your interest now in the political happenings building up to 2023 elections?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I want to just clarify that I have always been interested in politics. I have always been active in politics. As a citizen of Nigeria, my early memories of politics came when I was a child, when Abiola ran for president in Nigeria. And the activities around then, even when I was not able to vote, I could not vote, I was conscious and aware of the promise of democracy because I was a child that grew up in the military rule. I can remember the military rule and the adversity and hardship that we faced as a nation. And one of the most exciting highlights of my childhood was witnessing the MKO Abiola election. And from there, when I grew up and was able to vote, I have always voted. I have always participated in elections in Nigeria. And outside Nigeria, where I am, when I was able to vote, I also participate. I believe that a democracy is the tool or the vehicle that gives people power. At the end of the day, power always belongs to the people. So being able to be involved in the democratic process where we peacefully transfer power to our leaders is something that has always interested me. In this particular election, of course, for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I am with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man whose name I first knew from Nadeko, the days of Nadeko, that fought and took power away from the military, that went into exile in different countries in the United States, in the UK. Multiple leaders of that movement, they were the activists of my childhood that I remember fought for democracy for Nigeria. And of course, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu came back, when we were able to get our democracy, he became a senator and then an outstanding governor of Lagos State. So all those history, that background of activism, that background of being able to deliver when given opportunity. It's one thing to be a critic of the government. It is another thing to actually get an opportunity to govern and do a good job. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a fighter, he was an activist, he was a critic of the status quo. And when he was given the opportunity to become a leader, a governor, he delivered. So that is why I support him today. That support is not a support that, materialized today. It is something that has been there for a very long time. Dates back to my childhood, sir.
Interesting. Now, there are those who would wonder your preference for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in a mix that have or has Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has got the right or has got some experience in Aso Rock, and the wave of the moment, Peter Obi, that many people, especially the youth, are clamoring for as a change of the narrative in leadership. But you have cited history, activism, and the Nadeco days and the performance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you feel that Tinubu of the Nadeco days and as governor of Lagos State is a Tinubu that will have, if elected, Nigeria's president, given his age and how times have changed?
I want to go to Ibibio. We have a saying in our language. So that the fact that you have gained the advantage of years does not mean that you are not who you are. Tinubu of Nadeco is that fiery youth, that fiery activist that had a vision and saw the world the way it should be, and then went ahead to create the world according to his own vision. He is the same man that went to Lagos and created a world of his own vision. When he had the adversity with the then president of Nigeria, being President Obasanjo, for 3 years, or for 3.5 years, Lagos State did not get any subvention from the federal government. Tinubu did not fall back to his activism days and just complain or be a critic and just criticize or be somebody who shields away from leadership and just cry. He stepped up. He graduated from being an activist. He graduated from being a critic and became what the people made him to be, the governor of Lagos State. He removed the obstacles on his way. He removed the impediments on his way. He removed the problems on his way to be a solution to Lagos State, to develop Lagos State, to grow Lagos State, to pay salaries of Lagos State civil servants. He did all these things because he had matured from just being an activist to being a leader. So he is a transformational person, a transformational individual. He is no longer a child. He is no longer an activist. He is no longer a critic. He became a leader. So this is the same person that we are talking about. Of course, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nadeco. He is now a seasoned statesman. He is now a seasoned leader. He is now a seasoned administrator who has proven that he will not give us excuses He will not give us reasons why he will not succeed. He will not give us reasons. He will not point fingers at other people and say, oh, they. He has shown us that when he has obstacles, he makes the obstacle the way. And the same way, where he overcame the adversity of OBJ, when the adversities of Nigeria will come upon him, and they will come. We are a country of 200 million, to be conservative. 200 million, very strong-willed, very educated people. We are not sheep. We are lions in Nigeria. When the adversity of 200 million Obasanjo come at this man, he will be able to stand. He will not make excuses. He will solve problems. So that is the basis of my support. And I continue to stand with him. And I know that when given the opportunity to lead Nigeria, what he did in Lagos, he will exceed in our country.
All right, let's leave history now and talk specifics. He has already launched his manifesto titled Renewed Hope 2023. Is there anything of the promises made in that manifesto that attracts you the most?
There are multiple things in the manifesto, and we will not do justice to just pick up one or two. The truth of the matter is that there are no solutions that exist in isolation. It is an end-to-end solution, and he has thought through this strategy and has come up with solutions that will rub off each other. He is not looking at siloed solutions. He's looking at solutions that will have a ripple effect throughout the economy of Nigeria. So basically what I see here is that in 2015, Nigerians elected a good man, a great man, in the person of Buhari. And the thought in our minds when we did that election was that we want to move away from corruption. We want to move away from bad leaders that were bad people and get a leader that was not corrupt. So the reforms of Buhari in our country, I know that we do as humans, we do have the tendency to look at gaps and not, we look at the pain points a lot. We focus on the pain sometimes without, giving gratitude to the things that are good. So when we were looking for a good man who is not corrupt, we had President Buhari, and we still have President Buhari, and he has put in the reforms in place that has closed the loopholes that makes it a lot more difficult for us to have corrupt practices. Building on that foundation, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now saying we are going to develop Nigeria. So there is this development agenda. And one of the things that I see in this agenda is the focus on humans. The focus on humans to use financial instruments that are available in foreign countries, in developed world, but it comes in Nigeria, opening up the credit system where young people can get mortgages to build their own houses or to buy their houses. And then starting from their personal castles, they will be able to go out and achieve more. That is one thing that really caught my attention. But of course, this is not going to be in isolation. It is going to be a ripple effect of all the other things that Asiwaju has talked about in his manifesto, which includes, among others, security, healthcare systems, energy, and so on and so forth. That focus on the human, that focus on the person, on the individual, that says if you are a son of Nigeria, you can take a loan. And if you are wise enough, you also get a wife, preferably from Akwa Ibom state, that is also hardworking and intelligent as you are. Both of you can put your money together. You can buy a house 3 to 5 years after getting a job. And from your own castle, you create your family and you start having a good life as you deserve to have as a Nigerian.
Interesting to hear you talk about the access to credit because a lot of people have actually highlighted that part of the manifesto. But as much as people see how beneficial it could help, let's look at the 70 million teeming youth population in Nigeria and having them have that access to credit facilities. There are also fears of uncertainties and how that is even workable in a system as we operate in Nigeria. But while you will maybe touch on that a little bit, I'd also want to have your opinion on what you think of the promise by the Tinubu and Shettima campaign organization to have the 35% affirmative action on women activated. But also, women are saying that it is important to institutionalize female inclusion and representation in politics and governance. What would your take be on that?
Okay, so let's go first on the credit, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yes, let's go. Is it something that can work in Nigeria, away from the promise and how beautiful it sounds? Can we have it run successfully in Nigeria?
Okay. So I am old enough to remember the time when we had less than 1 million telephone lines in Nigeria. So you had this box on the table, and then it was rotary. When you want to make a call, you pick it up, and then you turn it, cling, 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 and all the numbers will now go through, and then you will get the person you are talking to. When you want to talk to your uncles and aunties abroad, you will actually go to Nitel, and then you queue up and get a chance, and then you have a terrible 3-minute conversation that will cost you maybe $3 or $4 in today's money. It's not so long ago. And then technology came. We had the GSM technology, and today I am having a conversation with you that will end up costing me maybe for this 1 hour conversation, cost me nothing, next to nothing, or maybe $2. So, impossible is nothing. My parents, God bless them, fantastic people. My father, an engineer, he ended up being the principal of secondary schools across Akwa Ibom State, and my mother, a nurse. She ended up at the end of her career. She became the principal of School of Nursing. That's how she ended her career. These people are teachers who taught so many Akwa Ibom people. How long did it take them to build their house, to complete the family house that we have on our streets now? It took them approximately 22 years. I graduated and started work and contributed a little bit to make sure that family house was completed. 22 years. Now, it is possible for you to save money and do it a little at a time over a period of 22 years. My parents did it. We have a fantastic family house. Everybody still comes home from wherever we are all over the world, and we love staying in the family house. So they did it. So if you want to save money and build your family house over a period of 20 years, 22 years, you can do it. It will just take you that time. But if the government of Nigeria has faith in people like my parents, in people like myself, and they see these 70 million teeming young people in Nigeria, they see them as Mr. and Mrs. Asikpo, two young people fallen in love, want to start a family, and they need a house to raise their kids. Then the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will have faith and backing on this young Mr. and Mrs. Asikpo, knowing that 22 years down the line, they would have finished paying off this credit, and they won't have the stress of worrying about, oh, this month, should I pay my child's school fees, or should I buy food, or should I buy cement? They will know that if this loan is 10,000 naira every month, it will be set aside 10,000, and every other income that they have, they can then channel to doing other things for their family. So credit is possible because Mr. and Mrs. Asikpo were not the only people that built family houses. A lot of our parents built their family houses that we are living in now. The only difference now is that the government of Nigeria under Bola Ahmed Tinubu will tell our young people, we trust in you, we believe in you, we know you are like your parents, that you can make this happen. So go get your house today and pay for it over time. 22 years, 25 years, 30 years, whatever the terms of those mortgages, the young people will be able to have their houses. Thank you.
And the big part of it is the thoughts by some women that there is need to institutionalize female inclusion and representation in politics and governance. And they're saying that Asiwaju is pledging this for the women of Nigeria. What's your take on that?
Yes, I understand that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is pledging that women will have as much as 35% in elected office. And this is a good thing. The population of Nigeria, give or take, without splitting hairs, is 50-50. You have 50% women, 50% men. And I'm saying this without splitting hairs. Toss of a coin. You're either a man or you're a woman. So now we do not have that much representation in government. And there are systemic reasons why we do not have that type of representation. So making a bold pronouncement like this does not mean that women are just going to be able to go in and get all the positions. No. What it means is that there will be a systemic approach to make sure that women are identified and women have the opportunities to also compete for positions. There are a lot of barriers that stop women from, participating in political process, especially at the leadership level. One of the things that impedes people a lot is that you cannot become what you do not see. A lot of women do not see other women in politics. A lot of women do not have the mentorship and nurturing that you do need from a leader for you to become an exceptional leader. So being able to make this type of bold statement means that we are going to be looking out to see the processes, the systems that will be put in place by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to ensure that women will be able to participate. And as women, we will be able to actively contribute to this process, lend our voice to this process, and walk the process so that we can also participate. Statistically, when you look around the world, countries that are led by women are more often more peaceful, more collaborative, and not as caustic and aggressive as some other countries that are led solely by men. So this is a great thing for Nigeria, not just for Nigerian women, but for our entire population, because it's going to bring another dimension into leadership. And maybe this might be what we just need as a country to make us, turn the corner, flip the switch, and get to a higher height.
I want you now to, go into something that has been also of importance in public discourse recently. The INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, speaking at Chatham House in London, was trying to address, and that's the issue of diaspora voting. What do you make of the thoughts by some Nigerians? Do you think we have come of age where all Nigerian, from all walks of life, anywhere on the surface of the earth, should be able to cast their vote at a time as the 2023 election? Not the 2023 election per se, but that we are of age where we can vote and have our votes counted from wherever in the world?
I just want to commend INEC for their role in our democracy. INEC has been one institution that has sustained our democracy, has been very aggressive in making reforms to close every loophole that could make our elections questionable. And they have been doing a great job. Election after election, Nigerians are having more confidence in our process. Nigerians are having more trust in our process and respecting the results of our election. So I want to commend INEC for that. And based on that, I want to have faith that INEC understands that we in the diaspora are Nigerians. Throughout history, people have had to migrate and leave their land and seek greener pastures, and most times those people come back home. The diaspora community, the diaspora population of Nigeria in 2021 contributed about 25% of our budget to Nigeria. I understand that based on data that is available in the public space, that Nigerians in the diaspora sent home $20 billion US. Our bodies might be outside might be outside Nigeria, but our money is in Nigeria. Our heart is in Nigeria. Our heads are in Nigeria. They are participating in Nigeria as much as any other Nigerian who is physically on ground in Nigeria. So I trust that INEC is putting in the processes in place to ensure that every Nigerian, irrespective of physical location, can vote. So if we can contribute our money, if we can contribute our heart, if we can contribute all the things that are most important to us, but we are impeded only by distance, that should not rob us of our privileges and rights as citizens of Nigeria to choose our leaders.
And just staying on that, many people, especially here in the country, we've talked so much about the 2023 election as a very important one in our history, and that citizens will have to be very, very critical of the decision they take and where they stand in this election. Let's just use this opportunity to ask you as a diasporan, is it the same mood that you are having as a Nigerian, even though outside the country? Do you feel the way we feel about this election, those of us here? Do you feel the same, even though you're outside the country?
I think I feel it more acutely than people in Nigeria. You know, sometimes when you look at the news is very good in exacerbating the fear and the negatives. So I feel it more than even people in Nigeria. I pray, and I want Nigerians to make the right decisions so that I can come home. And anytime I decide to come home, I am at home. So when we look at this election, I know that every election, there's always something. There's always something, like, for example, the Abiola election. There is no election that is not unique. But this election, for me, is very unique. This election is one where we have had an administration that has turned the tide of corruption in Nigeria. We might look at every other bad thing or good thing about this administration, but there is something across board that a lot of Nigerians agree on, that systemic corruption has gotten a check. Now, what is the next step for us? The step of greatness of our country, the step of putting us in the right footing. No government will solve the problems of Nigeria by itself. The problems of every country is solved by the people of the country. What government, which administration will give us the tools that we need as a people to solve our problem? That is a question that we need to ask ourselves as Nigerians. I want to remind Nigerians that in 2015, 2019, and the good people of Akwa Ibom State, that Nigeria voted a good man. Now is the time for Nigeria to vote a man that will make us the undisputable giant of Africa. This is the time to vote a man that will give us the tools that will make us show out who we are. We are not a docile, complaining people. We are a fierce and proud people. We are not a people that walk around with our heads bowed, cowering before people, talking about hunger, talking about deficiencies, talking about lack of opportunities. We are a people who seek opportunities. We are a people that are ready to work. We are a people that are ready to excel. Vote in a man that will give you the tools to be who you are. There is a Nigerian that is great inside you, and only you will be able to bring that Nigerian out. Make sure the leader you choose will give you the tools that will make you who you are.
And just in winding down, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, alongside the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will be touching down Akwa Ibom on the 30th of this month for the presidential campaigns of the APC. As you already know, Akwa Ibom is a PDP state. Are you worried about the reception the state will accord them, and what do you think the message will be from the APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu Presidential Campaign Council to seek the support of the Akwa Ibom people? Maybe we can hear that from you.
Yes, I do know that Akwa Ibom State traditionally has voted the PDP, and I am thankful for the great leaders that Akwa Ibom State has had, one of them being the digital governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, Dr. Godswill Akpabio, His Excellency, all protocols observed, who is now a chieftain of the APC. Akwa Ibom people, like I said, we are not sheep. We are lions. We don't just follow one path. We make roads in multiple paths so that we will remain relevant in everything that has to do with Nigeria. I think that when Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes to Akwa Ibom State and the president comes to Akwa Ibom State, of course, being the hospitable people that we are, will welcome them. President Buhari is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we do respect our leaders. We will welcome him and we will give him a warm reception. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having worked in Mobile, has close connections to Akwa Ibom State. So he is going to speak to the things that are important to us. As of today, Nigeria produces and sells about 1.7 million barrels of oil every day. At least 550,000 barrels daily is coming from Akwa Ibom State. So I expect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to talk about our position in Nigeria and our contribution to the economy and the things that he will do as president to make that contribution visible, not just in allocation of resources to Akwa Ibom State, which is ours, it is our commonwealth, it is our due. Not just that, but also making Akwa Ibom citizens visible in the center, making Akwa Ibom citizens visible at the national level to show our contribution to the nation Nigeria. I am very confident that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he finishes, and above all, there are a lot of rumors about our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People will get to see him by themselves. People will get to hear him by themselves. And some of the people that are confused about all the doctored videos and what people are saying will be able to see the evidence with their own eyes and be reminded again why the APC, which is arguably the largest political party of the black race, period, has chosen this lion of Babylon to be the president of Nigeria. People will be reminded again, and Akwa Ibom people, not being sheep, being lions, being men and women of their own minds, will make the evaluation, and when they get in that ballot box, they will vote for the man who will make us and give us the tools to become the great Nigerians that we are. They will vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC as president of Nigeria.
I want to thank you sincerely for joining us on the program and for the time accorded us. We sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on your program, Mr. President. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.